5 after 1, Thursday, March 12th. This is a special called workshop meeting of the Commissioners Court of Hood County, Texas. We are in the central jury room of the Ralph H. Walton Jr. Justice Center at 1200 West Pearl Street, Granbury, Texas. And could I get an invocation from Commissioner Andrews? Pledge to the great state of Texas. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Item number 1, discuss immediate facility needs, particularly involving the DPS driver's license office, locating to the Acton Annex, and moving environmental health and development into Annex 3 or another suitable location. Take it away, Commissioner Andrews.
DPS has, I think their time in the Toller building is coming to an end. And they've reached out to see if there was somewhere here in the county that we might be able to make that work. I know that it is a positive thing for Hood County. The conditions that I put on this is I'm like, all right, we'll find you some room, but you got to take our employees. There may be some, we may have to work that out, you know, over time or whatever. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we may have to work on some of that, but for right now, we're needing to see if there's something that we can do to accommodate DPS. Commissioner Wilson and I have talked about this, and we've met with some of the folks from DPS and with Andy, and kind of have maybe an interim plan, but I also wanted to just kind of put on the table, I know this is item number 2, but I think all of this stuff kind of ties in together. There's a short-term plan where we could do some things, and then there are long-term plans. And where do those two meet? Where do we want to intersect on this? So I guess DPS, one of the things that we've talked about, and let's just put some options up here on the table, I guess. We've talked about moving environmental and development out of the suites over at the Acton office, and then perhaps putting them into Annex 3, which I know that that's going to, there will need to be some give and take in that building for that to happen. I don't think that they can go back into the situations that they were in before, more people, more stuff, and probably need a little bit more room to be able to spread out in there. So, Jeannie, you look like you're about to say something. So. Yeah.
Okay. So while y'all are discussing moving my office, we have 35 filing cabinets. 14 of those are the 5-drawer cabinets, and they weigh roughly 500 pounds. 10 of them are the 4-drawer that weigh between 250 and 500. I've moved twice since I've been in the 7 years. Next week will be 7 years I've been with the county. I've moved twice. Every time we move those cabinets, it's damaging them. And
a major renovation over there to move development from behind the building behind us to be a suite with you.
Yes.
So we just did that, what, a little over a year ago? 2 years ago?
But it cost $1,000 when I moved the last time. And at current rate, I'll have just under 26,000 septic systems in Hood County. Those are all files that we are required. They have a lifetime retention on those files. So,
And it has to be hard copy? Or can we digitize some of that stuff?
we can digitize them, and part of them are digitized, but they're not digitized correctly. I mean, in the last 3 years, we have been digitizing them correctly because everything that's in those files has not been digitized. And that's the issue that we have with the files.
Okay.
And I know I've spoke with both of y'all about the need for a large screen monitor where we can project. The Butterfly Grove files are hard to see on even a regular computer monitor. And with all of the development that we're seeing now, all those files for us to be able to view them, it would be better for us to have a large screen, which that's not an issue, but having the place to put the large screen currently is an issue.
What are these? I was just talking to Mr. Larson, our facilities manager. In the back of Annex 3, there's all these question marks. What are those rooms?
Actually, that's a lot of that. We walked through it the other day and kind of looked at it. We couldn't get into all of them. Some of them are different departments have storage here and there, but most of those walls used to be gel walls. So it's not a sheetrock framed wall that you could just knock down and move. So some of those, a couple of those are empty. Some of them we couldn't get into to see what was in there.
Other items back there, and then the other one it's closer to the front, which has my vault and other items that stay closer to the office.
Are yours noted on
mark
here
them on
as
here.
yours?
I have one right there. Most of mine files I gave away because I digitalized almost every bit of my office now. So I gave my filing cabinets and my shelves away.
Do you mind? Which? Okay. Okay. She didn't. She's back here.
Have fine space. It looks like there's space, and there's all this space back here. Yeah, it's an old jail, but our auditor's in an old jail cell, so
Space for what?
for DPS.
That's what I'm saying, the wall, you can't move the walls, this is like a
Well, they've
long
got-
4x8 room or whatever.
Well, they're not shaped like that. Some of them look like they,
Yeah, I don't think any of this back here would be useful for something like that.
well, some of this is just storage, so move all the storage back to the storage, and Leland said a bunch of this is probably over 10 years old and can be destroyed. So get the part that's in the back of that, all these jail cells. So, I mean, get rid of the stuff that doesn't need to be there and move the storage out of these usable rooms and use those.
That stuff is smaller than my office, I mean significantly, these things are
Oh,
tiny.
this one's yours?
Yeah, it's not very well represented on it. Just walking through there, I don't know that would be, could be like usable for that type. Yeah, I think that, well, in the EOC, there's more room in the EOC if we needed to move. That's what I meant to ask Jenna about. Because that's an agri-life guy.
She's talking, or he's talking to her.
The elevator's quarter out, it's not that large. It's like 900 and something.
Oh, this is where when you walk in,
500.
Let's see, that one is,
is this a closet? What's that?
Yeah, it's
Okay. Are both of these closets? Is that a closet too, next to the bathroom?
that's IT stuff.
Oh,
IT closet.
okay.
yes, no, 457, 457 total. That right there is 457.
Yeah, it's pretty small.
We moved in there, we built that wall and that wall.
Do you know what size the building that you're in over in Toller right now? Do you know how many square feet? I do know that, so. Let me put on my glasses and I'll figure it out. 25 by 36. 20. Temporarily, you're gonna have 2 more employees, even if they're stuck in it together.
Those are jail cells.
So, yeah, so you're gonna need more room if
Right now, that's the break room and stuff, right? Mostly, yes.
Yes,
Yes.
that's the side door.
The end of September, which is when our
And it doesn't
budget
show
starts.
Cynthia's office anywhere.
8/31 or 9/31 or
I'm saying
9/30?
that's a lot.
831, what's on the
Yeah.
contract, I've got the contract.
Oh. Oh, it would have been really good if you could have gone through 9/30 because our budget starts over in October.
Can you get out of that contract, or you gotta pay up all the way through to
Yes,
August?
it's so bad. Like, thank God for GPS, because I had no word, we would get lost.
Budget. That would work perfectly on the transition of the people. So why, maybe you said in the email, but I don't remember, why are they canceling your lease?
Well, first of all, as far as we know, all we've been told is that they don't actually pay anything for it. And then the agreed to that, which was the mayor as well as the director, was like a decade ago. And so a lot of people that are there right now, even though they're fine to do it. So, as far as Joe, we don't get one calling. And one of the better offices, you know, over here kind of get a lot of complaints, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know that we have crazy employees that, and they're complaints,
What? The city of Toller is pushing back because of the traffic? I've been there.
also encompasses that city.
Okay.
And so finding parking when there,
when the chop house is open.
yes, I mean, it's.
Not the cells.
Pertinent to the discussion we're having here. Could we get more people from your side into Hood County if you had a bigger area? More employees.
So part of our issue, which also goes back to the board lease, is we have to get additional employees through the legislature. Okay, through legislative funding, right?
Right.
And we just have the biennium started, and so we can't request additional employees. And right now, I don't have a spare in my area. I don't have a spare. What do you do? Over there. Eventually, I mean,
Seven total right now, total, four total.
Oh, okay. I thought it was 6 going to 8. Okay. 4 going to 6. Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. Well, well,
Okay. Or,
I mean,
Before the are you saying before the new biennium or as part of the new biennium?
Speaking about solar, because we've been asking for what years.
Drive all the way to China.
We
It's faster.
had one from down around by Houston, right as we opened.
Right, right, yeah.
They could get in.
Well, here's my thought, because each of those suites out there in Acton is 1,100 square feet, roughly. What's the end game? Do we want 2,200 square feet and we get into an issue with bathrooms where each one of those suites has one bathroom attached? So would it make more sense to give 2 suites, 2,200 square feet? I don't know how we would get some assurance that you'd be able to put more agents in there. Or is this a stopgap for now? Give them 1 suite, move Clint back over here. I know that it's kind of helpful that he and Jeannie they work together a lot, but move him back over here into the DPS offices and look for a longer range plan.
Talk about that modular building you mentioned to me on.
If we bring him back, put them there, because right now, they've got places all over the state, and talking with, Chair Gibson, their boss, they, have both state and county working in the same building, in the same room.
Yeah.
So at least as a stopgap, that could be, continue like we are.
Right.
That the state, our employees and the county employees, in the short term.
Right,
The
yeah.
long term would be, to hand it all off. I agree with that. But, for the short term, we could still do both in that 1 suite.
Yeah.
Now, the long-term plan, just so you know where I am on this, I don't know, to me, the long-term plan is the county shouldn't be subsidizing the state's responsibility. So that includes office space and employees. The state has a $43 billion surplus. We're scrimping and saving for every dollar that we can. So I think that the long-term plan is DPS be self-sufficient, that they supply their own employees and that they pay for whatever office space they use, whether that's a county building or some other space outside in the county. You don't have to be in a county building. You could, I was driving, just to drive here, there's 3 or 4 little houses or offices that are for sale on Pearl Street. Of course, it's Pearl Street, so it might be expensive. But, there's other places that once you go through your budget process, you don't have to be in a county building. So, but
I think that we could, I was seeing that in the future, spaces for at least right across the street from the jail, 500. I think Richard had one of those.
the bail bonds, old bail bonds building.
Those are kind of maybe similar to what those rooms in the back of the jail are back there. I know I've got a bookkeeper friend over there, and it's a.
Can I just say also too, I agree with Jeannie. Every time we move our equipment or files or desk, it creates more and more damage on it, which costs us more. So to keep moving back and forth, it's a big liability on us.
You mentioned about the modular building.
Yes, so if our goal is just to add some more office space, a very affordable way would be a modular building. Road Ops is in a modular building that we purchased from Ramtech out of, where are they at? Out of Mansfield. And that's what they do is, commercial modular buildings. I was talking to Todd the other day, we purchased the property right next to Road Ops. He suggested that we could put one there and tie it into his septic and his water. Those buildings run about $100 a square foot for about a 4,000 square foot building. Now, if you go down to 2,000, they're a little more, but $100 a square foot's pretty inexpensive for brand new office space. Yeah.
Just so you know, me being in Acton and having a collection station, if I have employees that don't show up at the collection station, I have to send someone from my office to cover. So having me closer to the collection station will be a benefit.
So you're okay to move to the collection station with all your file cabinets and?
Well, the environmental health employees are required to cover if I don't have enough staff at the collection station.
Okay.
And also about these buildings too, it'd be a fairly quick solution. I think the Road Ops building, it only took them about 6 months or so to build. And they're on a cooperative contract. So the procurement is fairly simple and, basically they show up with it, put it together, we tie into it down the road. It's, we're not out hiring architects and engineers and all that stuff. It's a very affordable solution.
Yeah, and this is what I was proposing for the fire and EMS stations back early on was to have this Ramtech build the buildings for the people portion of it and then just attach a metal building for the fire apparatus and stuff. So it's a very economical option. However, and here's where kind of the long range stuff starts figuring into this. Eventually, we'll have to have a district court, another district court in place. When that comes about, we're going to have to move probably, and I don't even know if this is possible. Somebody said the other day that the county court at law would actually have to have a Sally port connected to it, and I don't know if that's actually the case or not. I kind of always thought the plan was for county court at law to go into JP 1 and 2's offices and courtroom down there, and then the new district court come into the county court at law offices. But there may be something that we need to take into consideration there. But JP 1 and 2 are likely going to need a new home in the future. And kind of, all right, let me just spill it all out there. I've talked to the school about the Weatherford College building and the cafeteria directly behind it. Now, this is tiny conversations. I went and walked through it with them. The building there that says the Weatherford College Education, that building down here on the corner of Bridge and Jones, just kind of spitballing from Google Maps, I think that's about 20,000 square feet in that building. There's several classrooms along each side of it with a big open atrium in the middle, and then a second floor on the classroom portion. So if we were to take that, renovate it, we could move audit, purchasing, treasurer, elections, HR, development, environmental, agri-life into that building. The cafeteria behind it is the kind of grayish top building there, right there. That's the cafeteria building. It already has restrooms in it, a storage area. It'd be great for elections. Elections needs more room. They're, with the equipment and tables, there's every inch of spare space in our building is stuffed with some kind of an elections accoutrement there. And you can't even get all the equipment out and do a test at one time in the room that we have here. So that need is coming for elections to have more space.
The heat and HVAC would have to be a total remove and replace with new because it's so outdated and so cumbersome, to operate it at this point based on 2 different conversations, so that's, I mean, it's not I'm not against that idea, just saying that is something that will be the first priority.
Sounds like the modular buildings might be a better option.
But it doesn't do anything for us for the future. That doesn't take care of JP 1 and 2, district court.
So what kind of deal on the Weatherford College building?
We haven't talked terms or anything. It's not, we're not at that.
And they gave the gym away, maybe they'd give us the bill.
Well,
I don't think they ended up doing that, did they?
Possible.
Huh?
I don't think they ended up doing that Decker Gym deal.
well, they were
Well,
open.
they were going to.
They were going to, but
On the agenda, it was on the agenda last week, if I'm not mistaken. I'll find out.
And, they were open to having a discussion about it. I know there's a building there they have that they're not using. We need space. Is this an inexpensive alternative to coming out and building something? Yeah, it's going to take some money to get it up into condition for us to be able to use it for sure. But we could put a whole lot of county offices and deal with a whole lot of needs at one time. Now, with this, if we moved all these departments to that building with the additional, and something else I need to bring up, AgriLife has a lot of programs that they do in the community, and they share the meeting room with elections, and of course elections gets the meeting room at election time, and a lot of times they're scrambling trying to look for places to have their meetings. So here's, yes.
Okay, the other issue that we have a lot of times is that a big portion of my programming is nutrition programming. So I also.
Hey, Hannah, would you come up to the mic for posterity here and make sure it's on? Thank you.
Hello, is it on? Okay. The other issue we have sharing that meeting space is that a big portion of my position is nutrition education. The best way to do that is through hands-on food demonstrations, those kind of things. So I have to have access to a kitchen. And so when elections is going on, 50% of my job gets put on hold because I don't have access to that kitchen, or I'm scrambling to find somebody that will let me into their kitchen, which most places here in the county do not have what we call a demonstration kitchen, where I can stand there and demonstrate for classes, groups of kids, those kind of things. So just wanted to add that in the consideration with the meeting room.
Have you, Stephanie, have you been in the Weatherford College facility? How about you, Hannah? Have you?
I have not.
Wait, we want.
I mean, it's an interesting.
Yeah,
It's an interesting wide open space.
We walked around it and looked in the windows. I haven't been inside. The open space is definitely interesting. I don't know if it's like the most ideal to host community education events like we do. But if we had consistent access to it, I mean, that's better than us having nowhere to go.
There used to be classrooms, right?
My understanding from looking through the windows, the outside of the building was classrooms. That inside is a big open, like atrium type area.
Now there is right now there's like a big cafeteria situation in there, a big kitchen and kind of a meeting room, cafeteria room, break room, whatever that may fill some of that need.
Yes.
So,
Like that, but when I was in school there, air conditioners were pretty primitive, so all they had was like the folding walls between the classrooms so they could open them up.
yeah, that's,
I just wanted to add, I have a tour of that building scheduled tomorrow at 10 a.m. Anybody is welcome to tag along with me if they would like. So,
Thanks. The Weatherford College building?
yes.
I can't go.
so with the Weatherford College building, it takes care of a lot of these departments' needs. It gives elections a bigger space, and part of that building is secured for storage where you could lock the elections equipment up there. And you would still have a large meeting room that you could have things whenever elections aren't going on. Now, also, Annex 3, in a perfect world, would be a great space for DPS, TAC, and we could even bring the troopers out of the LEC down into that building. On Annex 1, we could bring County Clerk 2, or Annex 2 people, put them down there where Andy's people are now, maybe some modification to that. And then the back half of that building, we could start remodeling for JP 1 and 2 and put JP offices in that location. This is, go ahead.
Come on up to the mic.
So you've mentioned this cafeteria. Is this what you're going to make the meeting room, quote unquote, like what we have in Annex 1?
Like for early voting to set up all the,
So the problem with a shared meeting room again is that periodically throughout the year, we have to take out all of our equipment. For every election, we have to test all the equipment. That takes up 2-3 days right now because we don't have the space to set everything up all in one day. Throughout the year, even when it's not election time, we have equipment that we have to update. We have to pull out all the equipment more than just during elections. The problem with that is if we have a deadline to upgrade our equipment, but that room is reserved by other departments, other community groups, whatever it may be, that limits our ability and time to even upgrade all of our equipment. There's things that we want to do during the year that we can't because that room is not ours all the time. And for us to take priority in that room, we have to kick all these other people out and all these other groups out. I feel like we shouldn't have just one room for. Yeah, I feel like putting all of these departments back into another building.
Okay, actually, the big atrium area in Weatherford College could serve as especially after hours, could serve as a meeting room. The cafeteria thing could serve as a meeting room. We would still have Annex 1 as a meeting room. So it would, my thought there is, of course, elections gets first priority at all times in that cafeteria building. But if we had something that we needed to do, from time to time.
But like what Hannah was saying, if that's where the kitchen is, we would run into the same problem of them not having the space that they need with the kitchen.
It's not a functional kitchen anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's not for the kitchen area. That area would be your storage, would be what I would anticipate. That would be the storage for all the elections.
Because ideally, the storage room would be big enough that we can have all of our equipment basically out forever.
In the storage room or?
Yeah.
a room that's.
Because right now we have, I don't know if all of you guys have seen where all of our cages are right now, but you can't walk in it. We have to climb up over things and pull things out every time.
On the bottom floor of that college, there's a teacher's lounge that used to have a full kitchen, everything. And I remember the smoke rolling out of there because all the teachers were in there on a smoke break.
Well, that's what I was talking about, is the kitchen portion of that. It's kind of like a little cafeteria
Are you saying that Hannah's kitchen would stay where it is? Where?
No, I haven't
she'd be over
thought
there.
this all the way through
Okay,
yet, so.
well, I thought the kitchen was moving, and then you said, no, that kitchen's not in the Weatherford College building, that's not a usable kitchen.
Okay, the cafeteria that I was talking about for elections would not be kitchen, would not have kitchen function. Can you go back to that overhead on the map, Christine, please?
They sell the library too, or are they using that for the data center?
Okay, the little part sticking off the side of that cafeteria right there. Yes, right there, just go to the right just a little bit. That portion right there is kind of storage and kitchen area. What was the kitchen for the cafeteria? That would be your storage. It's south of that. Yeah, that would have to be, there'd have to be some work done on that as well. There's that's like a big ditch going across there on the south side of that building right there. But that area right there would be basically your storage. Storage.
For the entrance of our voting location, we can't have storage way far away from where
All right, if you'll move that cursor down, but just come to the right, up a little bit, there's a door, that sidewalk right there leads into a doorway. Yes, right here. That goes into the back of that building. This storage, there's a wall between the two buildings right there. Does anybody have a little pointer things that I could go up and point on the map? Really?
Hey, to answer the question about whether or not the school district has given the the Decker Gym to the United Way, they have not. In fact, their plans are to negotiate the lease terms in the next few board meetings, and that's straight off the press right now.
Okay, I don't know, but that's a little bit tall. But, yeah, there's, this whole area right in here is parking lot or grassy field that can be turned into parking lot.
So it has to be.
Yeah, yeah. So, there's an entrance right here. There's actually entrances on all four corners of that building. This portion right here is where I was talking about for storage. That end down there is restrooms. So it's got its own restrooms. It's a large open area, and it's got pre-empty storage right there. So.
Is there enough parking for all the employees? And then when there's election, because even where we're at right now, it's hard parking during elections.
There's not right now. Yeah, that portion that's parking lot over there.
How far from the street is it? Is it 100 feet
I don't know. I hadn't.
Good question. Well, that's it. The other thing is,
106 feet.
Yeah.
it may be an option in the future that one of the parties wants to have separate primaries. So there'd need to be two different entrances. That's a what?
Well,
Yeah.
and actually, that building, you may be able to set up for that because it has to.
Yeah, that would be,
wouldn't necessarily have to have two entrances. I think we could still have one, but then just two separate sides of the room.
as long as all the processes are separated.
There's not even any walls in that. The only walls you have are the perimeter.
What about the building to the east right there? That's the library, or I think it's the data center now.
Yeah, IT building. It's pretty falling apart. And I didn't get that far because I think all of our needs for a decent way into the future could be satisfied with what we're looking for here.
How old is the Weatherford College building?
It was there before I was born.
Yeah, I don't know. Been there a while. Yeah, the city or the school got some bids on some of the remodel or whatever that would need to go on in there. And I think it came out to what, 3,153,000.
So how many modular buildings can we buy? How much space do we have? I mean, why would we, if we could do brand new modular, why would we?
Because a lot of these offices have to be in a county seat.
But not all these administrative offices we're talking about.
A treasurer does. Purchasing needs to be, purchasing, auditing, HR, it makes sense to be down here. JP 1 and 2, and you need big space for elections. So the age of a building, heck, that doesn't scare me. The courthouses.
Yeah, they got buildings in Europe that are 1,000 years old, so.
Well, that was designated as a triangle shelter, and I did with 3 staff.
Budget is this, the 3 million? I mean, which building, I'm sorry?
That's just for the Weatherford College building.
Just for the Weatherford College, the renovation is $3 million?
That's what they came up with there, yeah.
In what year was this estimate?
I don't know, it's got escalated.
Oh, there it is. Okay, I see that.
2027, so I think that those are
Pretty
right
recent.
now.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I don't think that you saw the replacement budget down there that said, 13 or 14 million. I don't think that's unreasonable at all to come up with 20,000 square feet, so.
Or possible, consideration would be, there's a building out on 377 across the street from Kentucky Fried Chicken next to the nursery there that DPS and several of us have already looked at. It's basically a shell at this point. And in conversations with the realtor, the property owner is now interested in, working out a deal. Okay. But, it could be, pretty much, it's basically, like I say, it's a shell at this point. Come on, go a little bit further out. Right there, yep. And that, and, when we looked at it with DPS last year, a year or so back, there's also, roadways to get back to 370, from 377R to Old Granbury Road from that location. And, so that's another, possibility. It's high enough that there's areas that could be built 2-story inside that also, that would house, a lot of room in that, to make that a possible. So, that's trying to get the square footage now. I've got to send a text for that. I haven't got an answer back yet, but, in looking at it, that has some potential for, not only DPS and driver's license and, but also being able to move, tag office out there in total, possibly, and others, there's room actually even for elections to be there, both parking lot and, parking lot in the back, because if you've got actual roads that go down both sides of the property behind the building, down to Old Granbury Road, also. So that's another possible option. And the owner, the guy that's got it, he's paying dearly right now. So, and he is, wanting to make a deal possibly, but that's just something to, if we're going, for the long term, that may be an option that we, look at.
Do what?
Tom was
just
precinct 4.
happens when what happens when 377 expansion starts or is in that area?
They still got access to Granbury if they put drive out there. It's 5 acres.
Unless we're renovating all Granbury.
4.9, what was it? I think it's 4.92 acres, something like that, just under 5, for the total property.
Click on the street view down in the left, on the right corner.
That's all right, you can just run up.
Yeah, just.
There you go. Yeah.
So what is the price tag that he's got on that one now?
Or
What is the price tag he's got on that
right
now?
now, he's asking $2 million.
I was told to set so long and stale, he probably he'd take it, entertain an offer.
But, so there's $2 million before we start doing anything. So it kind of gets back potentially to the Weatherford College building. We still got there's still a lot of work to be done on this building as well, so.
That's true.
Can I just add that for elections, we need to be more of a central location?
For the elections office, we need to be more in a central location for the county because we have Lipan and we have Crescent. For that to be our main early voting location, we get complaints from people in Crescent that it's down in here. Then we get complaints about it being so far from Lipan. So moving it further up the 377 wouldn't make sense for it to, because we really need to be centrally located within the county.
To me, the appeal to this property is you have 5 acres for future expansion if you ever wanted to build. That's the benefit over the Weatherford College, because there's no place to expand for future.
Isn't that one also, you can do upstairs, downstairs,
What's actually,
this one here?
You kinda can, but that's, oh, let me also throw in that the Weatherford College building does have a little, one of those little, you hook the wheelchair up to it and it goes up the handrail. So I guess it is ADA compliant, although it may not be. Do-
whole filing cabinet?
The little,
Oh, yeah. I want to pull those
the freight elevator, I bet I wouldn't want to chance that, so. Oh, it may have some of those too. I think both of these options have that. So, yeah, that building now has chillers and radiators for heating and cooling, and it's not able to switch in a day. So if you wake up on a day like today and it's 40 degrees and it gets to 85 that afternoon, it takes like 24 hours to switch from heat to cold. So that would be, so talked a little bit about that. There's a way around that if we wanted to continue with that system or put a, yeah, no doubt. So, right, this is a little bit, no, that's what I'm saying. This is a little bit longer plan, but I think that it may have some influence on what we do right now. Because I think right now, it would.
According to that bid.
Let's go put the modular building out at Road Ops, move environmental, development and ag.
I get it.
And maybe me into that building. But
So-
that doesn't fix our elections problem, which is right now.
I would say if you're going to do the modular building, then except for ag, because I think ag needs to stay where there's the kitchen, but environmental development and DPS, why wouldn't you just have DPS there?
Oh, so DPS wants to pull a student driver out onto 377 over there. that's a 70-mile-an-hour piece of road through there. That may not be the best idea. I did think about that, but I don't know. No. we're
Oh, this
talking
is
about
on down by
road
Road
ops.
Ops. Can't you get on, is there not a way to get onto Coke Street?
Yeah, but you can't go, I mean, they're not really anywhere. No, Coke goes straight and Bray goes this way, and you have to get on 377 at some point. I don't know.
What do you think about that?
We don't have any gun drivers. Ours are great drivers.
What about, don't you have brand new student drivers though? Okay.
We always make the safest route possible, because we create our routes, so we always try to do the safest route possible. So if they were on the road, it'd be a small amount of time.
We got constitutional carry, we have constitutional driver, we don't have to worry about it.
Mhm.
We are just in a third party situation, so we have less road tests, right? So compared to years ago, I would say it's significantly gone down 50% of road tests right now. Factors that people can really
I think environmental and development being out there just makes.
I got a question. Commissioner Andrews. So our immediate, or up to all of us, I guess rhetorically, the immediate deal is that we need to do something about the DPS, correct?
Yep.
And we're sitting here rebuilding the county right now.
Well, but I think it's pertinent to the discussion.
Well, I agree, but what do we need to do in the immediate term? I mean, I'm wondering if we do a cost of the modular building idea, the Weatherford College idea, something in black and white. I know you've given us what the school came up with, but I don't trust their numbers at all. Zero trust in their numbers on the Weatherford College deal. But maybe we come up with some numbers on the building on 377 plus 4 acres, or 5, or whatever that is. The Weatherford College, I'm just throwing this on the table. I'm just throwing something on the table. And then the modular building, concept, and see what we're looking at cost-wise. But in the meantime, still, what are we going to do about the DPS office?
Well, they have until the end of August, and she's going to ask if they can extend it to the end of September so that it'll coincide with our budget. So it's not immediate, next week immediate, it's immediate end of August or end of September.
Well, that's still 6 months.
Yeah.
You're talking about government doing something.
I know. So in government terms, it's right away.
Yeah, in government terms, it's tomorrow.
If we are going to go modular, then that building's going to need to be ordered pretty quickly so that they can get started on that. If we take one of these other routes, then I think that we can look at some Band-Aids that, we can last a couple of years doing a couple other things. And, it may be uncomfortable, but, maybe even in the short term, we move Clint back over here, just use one suite over there for DPS. Of course, that only gives them one bathroom and about 1,100 square feet. But that may be a workable solution until we get a longer term plan worked out, if that's the route we want to go on that. I've really chewed on this and thought about it for quite a while, and the best long-term plan I feel would be the Weatherford College deal. We haven't got a whole lot of numbers put together for that, but it takes care of elections for a really long time. It keeps all those offices that have to be in the county seat, and it allows for JP1, 2, the district court. Oh, I didn't mention selling Annex 2, because if you get County Clerk 2 out of Annex 2, then that's additional funds that you could use towards whatever. So I think it kind of consolidates everything and fits a whole lot of needs for the future.
There's that law office that's right on Pearl that just went up for sale. Did you see that one? used to be. It's not a new building. Doesn't look like it's a converted house. It just looks like a little strip building. It went up for sale in the last couple of weeks.
The one that William Walsh had?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that's,
Bad building.
yeah, you need, now you would go in there and you'll see.
Okay. I haven't had the need to.
You might as well get a dozer and doze it and start over,
Okay.
in my opinion.
You know, that,
Is it older than the Weatherford College building? What's wrong with it?
It's probably right in there, but it's not built as well.
But that's a historical building.
I'm just, you know, in all my, but that's concrete. It's not going anywhere. That's the Weatherford College building. I mean, it's hayite block and concrete. That's more solid than what we
About
would
the
buy
plumbing
now.
and the electrical and the HVAC.
HVAC's a disposable part of a building. You change that out. So electrical, for that matter, electrical too. The plumbing is a problem, but it's very likely.
The ducts. And the ducts for the air conditioning.
It's radiant heat.
Oh,
That would be part of your
problem.
putting your HVAC system. And do you put mini splits on it in each room to control it individually? Do you put a large system on the roof? You know, those are some questions that would need to be answered.
So all of these rooms back here between audit and IT purchasing, they're not, the way they're drawn on here is not exactly how they are. Is that what you're saying?
There's some minor changes with blueprint. It's more into the building, doors and walls. This is roughly what it's like.
It's what?
This is roughly what the floor plan is now.
Okay.
There's some doors and walls that are in the box, but some part of this is still where
So if the stuff that's being stored in there were to be moved, or if it's reached its retention period, it could be destroyed, then there would be some space available back here.
Talking about the jail rooms?
Yeah.
I think if you walked over and looked at that, you'd get.
Yeah, you need to go look at that.
Yeah. So when you
Well, I
get,
just thought you're in the old jail, and your office is really nice.
yeah, when you get north of purchasing and treasury there, the walls go from drywall to concrete, and renovation in that area will be quite the task compared to up front in the building.
So usable space up front, non-usable in the back, other than storage.
Yeah.
Kind of.
And skeletons.
And the flooring is, I mean, got the big drains in the middle.
How's the flooring?
Wavy.
Kind of like the walls?
But for future, when we're talking about the department, it's good for HR, treasurer, purchasing, and audit to kind of be really close. Whatever thoughts are in the future, it's really helpful because we're dealing with each other every day, all day.
And, you know, and that was one of the things I think we even threw on the table earlier is we do have that big piece of land out there next to road ops. Do we go in and move everybody that way? But you can't go, not unless we got Granbury to annex. Annex all the way down to road ops, and that's, yeah.
I don't think we're doing it.
That has been considered, but. Yes.
They gotta be in this, they have a satellite office outside of the county seat. They have an office space in the county seat.
So I think that because across the street is precinct 2, and I think that's why that line has always been drawn that way up Pearl Street. So JP 1 and 2 can share this building, but the other 2 JP offices are in their precincts. Yeah, it'd be the same, it'd be the same situation. We're still in the same block. So, either that or does precinct 2 need a satellite office down there with JP, and you and Constable 2 could move into that building? I mean, we kind of looked at that with that building over across from the cleaners that ended up being Jacob's Locker, that building that we looked at there. Thinking about for that scenario, so.
What? The what?
The old rope factory, Equifax, it was built to last furniture place. Went out and looked at that. That was $5.5 million, $6 million that they were wanting for that. Something. It was healthy. I don't remember what the 13 maybe. I don't remember exactly what that number was. You'd have to go in there and turn a whole lot of that into parking lot. But yeah, I mean, that's a relatively new building. It was weird. For one, it's on a aerobic septic. Yeah. I spent many hours there in a tanker shuttling water back and forth to that fire. It has a septic or an aerobic septic. It's not hooked up to the city sewer. It's real choppy. You walk through it and this building's at this level, this building's down here. You got to go up some steps and a concrete wall to get to this building. It's real choppy. We went and kind of looked at it, and there were definitely some good things there. It's a lot of space. It was a huge building. The animal control area? Yeah. So, yeah, that's a consideration as well. Of course, then you would be in the city, and you'd probably have to meet some of their codes, masonry requirements, and yeah. So,
Lynn, what do you think the lead time would be on a portable building if we were to put something out there on the property adjacent to road ops? What kind of lead time we're looking at roughly?
Well, I haven't spoke with them about that. It looked like the road ops building took about 6 months or so, but I could find that out.
Okay.
You said 4,000, but you could do like a 2,000 for just to get.
Yeah, the 2,000, it's a little more per square foot, but yeah, they offer a wide range of different office buildings.
If you set it back far enough and put a decent parking lot, then coming in off 377 wouldn't be any different than coming off 377 anywhere else, because you're not having to try to, actually get into a parking lot immediately.
Yeah.
I think, I'm not arguing with that.
what's that?
The modular concept, at least for short term, to get DPS taken care of, because there's a lot of factors going on here that I agree need a long-term, it's going to be a long-term fix, but I don't know if we can get all that done. I mean, if we do so let's throw this on the table. If we did a modular building on the property that we just added to road ops to accommodate the DPS office and maybe one other, somebody else.
Environmental makes sense.
Environmental likes that idea. If we did that, then it's something we can get started on pretty quick, number one. And considering the fact that we got about 5 months to get something completed, I think we can make that happen. I don't see us making any of this other happen.
Agreed.
I think that what we could do very short term is move Clint and give that suite to DPS.
Do what?
Move Clint.
Back to Annex 3 and give DPS
Yes.
where Clint's at and Acton Annex.
So not do anything besides that.
Well, I mean, that would be, if we're going to do something more long term, that would be the quickest, easiest right now solution. Annex 3,
The ag
or
extension.
where
I have the
environmental
grant
health
writer
used to
in
be,
my
yeah.
office now.
Well, then, what's
They're
that?
all packed in together. So the office that Clint was in before with the ag extension agent is available because the grant writer was there previously, but I moved that desk into my actual office.
So this space right here in front of
But
If we
in
move,
front of Treasure?
he will need,
but if we move the two county DPS that are in front of auditors now, move them out there to the suite also, to where Clint's at, that would give, you that extra space, plus give Clint the space he needs. And then both the county and the state DPS would be, at Acton Annex. Because, like I said earlier, they're operating commingled all across the state now.
So that, are you saying, Stephanie, yeah, that's not there any, I mean, that's open?
It's partially open. Half of that office is used by an ag area agent, but
Oh.
he's not here very often. So yes, essentially it's open because the grant writer, I moved that desk in my office
Okay,
where I can.
so it could be used for staging, because those, no, it would just be to stage your stuff while you're moving, is what I was
Add
thinking.
that other office. Add that office where the grant writer is.
Some domino has to fall first.
Add that to the DPS, right?
I was just thinking it could be a staging area because you've got to move some stuff before they can move in. So,
Or put Clint back in there.
601.
Put Clint back in there, right?
601 for that.
and then you could still use that. And then once you got that set up, you could move the stuff out of the grant writer room back into your area.
Also would free up, where the DPS is now, because they move out to Acton also.
well, I think that would be where Clint eventually ends up, because I don't think that little office with water and everything you've got now.
No, and I agree. We put Clint where DPS is now.
Probably going to have to use that area for staging so that they can move into your spot, because you got stuff.
And for the short
Oh,
term,
Leanne, he's going to stage all his stuff in your office.
did 1 and 2.
Your office too. We could
We've
just-
done 1 and 2 together,
Something has to go first. So I don't know, just.
Matt, while you're in here, do you happen to know, does the county court at law have to have a Sally Port access or some way to keep inmates out of just walking down the hall?
Well, I know they don't walk down the hall. I'm
Right.
positive of that. I mean, I see them walk out that door that exits, as I'm facing the judge, it's on the right, and that's how they come in and out. So they go in some back door back up in there, and
All right, sorry, let me give you some context to
Okay.
this. If county court at law were to go into JP 1 and 2's area, do they have to have some way for inmates to get into that courtroom without walking down the hall, or is the county court at law? Is it because of the situation that we've got right now where you don't typically have inmates in county court at law?
well, we have a lot of inmates in the court of law. I was in the court of law 5 seconds ago, and we had 5 or 6 inmates in there.
Okay, I didn't know if that had to do with the
Yeah.
cross assignment or.
Yeah,
if
no,
that's typically.
on A and B misdemeanors, those are jail offenses, so we have people in jail all the time.
Okay,
This morning, we had people in jail. We were always dealing with people in jail. So that's a constant. If you're talking about moving them to JP 1 and 2, I don't know of any way to do it other than you'd probably have to bring them to the front, the wing where my office is, and probably bring them in that door, I would guess, right? So you don't walk as far down the hall, but you'd probably have to walk down a little bit of hall if you ever moved it.
Well, they bring them, I mean, of course, they're juveniles, but they bring them over there to the old courthouse,
Right.
you know, regularly, and ankle chains and everything else, so it's,
Yeah.
I don't see why a Sally port would be that big a deal.
Right.
Okay, I just didn't know if that was a requirement, because over here in this building, it's very segregated.
Right.
So I just didn't know if that was a requirement that
I
the
don't-
court administration or jail standards requires or anything like that. So,
No, not that I know of. You know, I've practiced in other counties that didn't have the same facilities and setup, and they don't have the nice, you know, backdoor entry and the sealed off that we have, so
Okay.
it's not always that way.
I was doing the original design, when they wanted to tunnel from jail to here, they used to tunnel to the foot.
Yeah. I kind of forgot that this meeting was a thing. I was in court of law.
Now, that's what you get for walking in,
I'm sorry, I
right?
know, I'm sorry, but is there any other, I don't know, I don't have any facility needs, but I can maybe answer questions that do pertain to other people or the courts or whatever.
do you remember what they were asking for that built to last building? I know that you were kind of hot on that one, over there off 51, precinct 4. Was it
was it-
$5.5 million?
Oh, gosh, I don't remember. I think it's off the market now, right?
Oh, is it?
Well, I'm sure. I'd have to, that had some upside and downside.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was a real funky layout, but
just an enormous amount of space. That's
Yeah.
the good part.
Yeah.
You could put anything in there.
I think we'd finally find a building elections could fit in.
Yeah, I mean, you just think of anything you want to put in there, it would fit, but part of it is the getting in and out part is a trick. A few other things might be hard.
Yeah, the aerobic septic was still
Right.
a concern with that many people in there. It might have to be expanded to accommodate that much daily usage and
Right.
stuff, so. There were some quirks about it for sure.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about that building anymore. It's been off my radar for a while. Anything else? Sorry, I missed the rest of it.
That's all right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody, any other comments on this? I think we're kind of dealing with both of these agenda items, aren't we?
Yeah, I didn't think that they got mushed together in there somewhere.
So anyway, does anybody else have any other?
Yeah. I think she's loading something up, trying to.
And the Weatherford College building was built in 1958. And the second floor was added in 1960.
Oh, okay, cool.
Added when?
Okay. I just want to talk about the current state of my office. This is where I had all the historical books. This is,
Are you speaking into the mic?
I'm sorry, can you hear me now? Okay, so anyway, just showing the current state of my office. All the historical books are stacked on chairs and covered in plastic. And this is my public area where I have computers, but we only have one that is accessible for the public to come in and do searches. This is new water leaks from the rain we had the other night. This ceiling tile has been replaced 2 times before, so we still have water leaks and water coming in. These are big stains on the carpet. This is in the public area as well, and so is that one. And this was the day after when the snow started to melt on the roof. Originally, there was a leak coming in here, and that bucket filled up overnight, but then also we had ceiling tiles come in. Several books got water damage. I had to send 7 books to co-file. And this was also the day after the snow started to melt. You can see we had water coming in that hallway. We ended up having to move all these books as well because ceiling tiles had collapsed. So But anyway, going back to that first picture, I mean, this is what we're working in now. So everything is just stacked and covered to prevent it from getting wet. That's it.
So have we had a roofing repair guy out there?
So I explained to Christine, and I've also spoken to Melissa about it. We've had the insurance claim filed. The roofers, not the roofers, the insurance did come out twice already to inspect the roof. They're coming out again in a week. They'll take a core sample. I have a feeling they're leaning towards full roof replacement versus repair. And I've been hounding them every day for their word, because repair is going to be one amount, and replacement will be another amount. That'll of course have to come to you guys for approval once we get to there. So we've
I mean, we're in the rainy season now,
yeah,
so
we are.
this is,
That's why we've been keeping everything covered over there versus putting the books back on the shelf, because if we put them on the shelf and get a really good rain, we're going to ruin more books.
is there any other remediation you can do on the roof while we're waiting for it to be repaired?
We, not really. There's one spot we can repair. The issue with where it's leaking on the inside is you have the roof system up top, and underneath your roof system, you have metal. And the leaks are coming out from the seams of the metal. So it's not like I go on the roof and say, oh, that's where the leak's at. Because it's coming through a seam over here, but the leak could be in the roof system over here. So
is this, man, we went through a bunch of this with the roofs. Was this not part of what we've already, is this something we haven't dealt with in the last 10 years?
this roof,
That's what I thought. I mean,
2019.
we spent, I thought 4 years ago.
From
I've
what
been, since
I've been able to,
Yeah.
yeah, from what I've been able to dig up, that roof was 2019. It was done at the same time as Annex 3 next door. And that was done by Drone Roofing, who has since filed for bankruptcy, and we can't pull any warranty on them. And like Clint here says, it's no wonder they filed for bankruptcy, because that roof is pretty rough, and also the roof they did next door is in rough
Well, he
shape.
used to have a fish tank at his office.
Mm-hmm.
Something else I want to bring up. Right after it happened, of course, Leland, their crew came over and brought some fans, and so we ran fans for about 2 weeks. And I know they went in and
A little bit, would you back off?
oh, okay. They pulled a bunch of insulation, but in the past couple of days, I've had some of the girls complaining about scratchy throats and burning eyes and things like that. Just making you aware of that. We also have problems in there after rain with raw sewage smell. The bathrooms get backed up. They did come in, they had to clean the clean out that runs to the outside pipe. But like I said, frequently after a rain and after a 3-day weekend, it's a very strong sewer smell in that building.
You mentioned once before about the location of this office versus your office here. Would it be inconvenient, terribly inconvenient, if you were in the modular building down by Road Ops, if this part, the records part, was down there? Going towards Toller. Down by the Riley Stevens VFW, down that way? Down. Okay. Close.
With the kind of records, it'd be.
Makes sense to have Clerk 2, JP 1 and 2, all in the same building if at all possible.
I've lost sleep because of your building. That's where we stand right now. They're coming out to do a core sample. I believe they're wanting to do a core sample in that roof because they're probably leaning towards replacement on it.
So is that a tar, asphalt, flat roof kind of thing? So, yeah, got to see how much is on there.
I have Paragon Roofing. That's the contractor that did the roof here. 2 summers ago when I first started. They're standing by with a bid for replacement or repair. And then I also have a company called Prestige standing by with a bid for replacement and repair. And they're both on purchasing co-ops. So whoever we choose should be a pretty quick purchasing transaction.
So we're waiting for the insurance adjuster?
The second time around.
Yeah.
And I've got to call into Brad
Mm.
to talk about it, but I haven't been able to talk to him just yet. But this happened when there was a lot of stuff going on, so I'm sure they are kind of
Backed up.
backed up.
Where do we go from here? Do we want to kind of digest on some of this, go get some numbers and come back for another workshop? Do we want this on the court on the 24th to make a decision?
Pricing for the modular.
What size?
Short term is to move.
Sorry to interrupt. One option that they have there is 3,850 square feet, 8 offices, a large open space in the middle. Obviously, they can reconfigure things, but something that size or something small.
I think about 2,500 feet.
Well, do you need room for ag? If we're going to go this route, I think you need enough room for environmental and all their storage. Because environmental makes the most sense to be out there next
Oh, I agree.
next to the CCS.
Yeah, as we're talking about space, like particularly for extension, we have our office that you guys are all pretty familiar with. We are also utilizing one of the closets in the meeting room. All of that kitchen island is storage for our items. We have a shed out here in the parking lot and a jail cell next door. Those are all fairly full. Looking very near future, I just got certified as a child passenger safety technician and selected to be a fitting station, which we will be the only fitting station in Hood County. So I'll also need space to store 10 to 12 car seats that I can provide by appointment to community members. Yes, thank you. So it's a really cool opportunity. It's a really cool resource for this community, but our space is maxed out in multiple different buildings and all of that. So just as you're considering where we might go, we're going to need space. So.
Is there an option for 2,500 on that? Or does it go from 6?
I don't think that's big enough because, again, if ag goes there, we need meeting space for ag.
Well, that big space in the middle, to me, that makes no sense.
Well, I think you can chop it up. That's just an example.
Well, my thought was section it off and instead of a bunch of individual offices, leave it an open or a more open concept and put cubicles in there for your.
They also offer that permanent modular building that's on slab.
Well,
Why
I
don't
think
you
you have
ask
to
them?
get to a certain square footage before that makes sense, but
Can you ask them for some, I mean, is this all they have that's on their website? Or you can ask them for a design for like 4,000 square feet?
I haven't seen the road offices design yet. You're thinking 2,500,
3,000 maybe?
3,000. Basically office space.
room And Annex 1's 2,500 square feet. That's a lot of stuff to stick into a building for that size. That includes the kitchen and everything, but that's what 2,500 square feet will get you. I don't think it's big enough. The meeting room in Annex 1, where we have our hospital district meetings.
No way. Anyway.
Is that not what it is? That's what it says here.
I think the whole building's 2,500.
No, it's bigger than that. Yeah, that says 35 by 70. Yeah, that's about 2,500 square feet. Well, it's got a kitchen, so you just have to imagine another bedroom.
Cleaning closet?
Yeah, there's a closet right over here. Oh, okay. And then there's that thing right here that they store the elections.
Okay.
I think the modular deals, they could be moved into that pretty quick too. Sorry. Y'all are having a conversation, we're having a
Okay,
conversation, sorry.
when you said move into that pretty quick, I was like, where? Where are you saying?
Want to share that again?
Well, we've got, for the immediate quick term, move Clint back into Annex 3. Put DPS, both the state and the county DPS operation at Acton Annex. And then, that takes care of the short term. Then we can do the modular out at Road Ops, but we've got to do it big enough to put, Genie Environmental out there, plus possibly move DPS out there or other, departments from the county out there, but it's got to be big enough that, we don't want just a small one. I'm thinking probably around the 4,000 foot, 3,500, 4,000 foot range for that building. But even that's going to be not as quick, I don't think, as, just moving Clint back in and setting it up right now.
Well, I'll say this, I'm opposed to DPS being at Road Ops. I'm opposed to DPS being at Road Ops because there's not really a good place to have any road test out there.
With all the, and I agree.
And it's
Putting
65
DPS
miles
out
an
there
hour.
because of the
through there.
traffic issues.
I think it would be better to have DPS at the Acton Annex than out at Road Ops.
See, because, with the widening of 377 coming up and, the turn lanes going in, plus the city, if they start building, that data center out there or what they just annexed, there's going to be enough traffic out there as it is. That's another thing to consider because that's going to be on the city council agenda next month.
And being in Annex 1, the number of people that come in that building asking where driver's license, because that's where you go get your license plate. So you always got to tell them, oh, nope, that's in the next building over there. So my thought would be to have tags and license in the same building would be a good, good thing, eliminate a whole lot of confusion there. So long-term goal. And again, if we could move the troopers out of the LEC into Annex 3, that frees some room in the LEC that I think they're needing some room down there too. So there's a lot to discuss and consider in this. And
Start with getting numbers from purchasing on 4,000 square feet. 3,500.
I think that's kind of a waste because it doesn't take care of any of our future needs. And I would rather focus on dealing with the future than than putting a Band-Aid on it.
What's that?
Well, I mean, I'm in the building with elections and extension, and I see, you know, the struggle there, and I know that elections needs more space. So that's.
Do we for sure sell the office buildings by the hospital?
Yeah. Yes, we did that. So, yeah, I think that one pretty pressing concern is elections. And,
Solve this by the November election?
no. No.
Okay,
I'm looking for, sorry, that's,
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
But,
sorry.
I think we're probably a little further out than that, but I think, you know, a couple of years, and it may be kind of uncomfortable for a couple of years.
I mean, we don't have any real costs on those other buildings. You can get all the costs before you make a decision, but we need to, and how's it going to get better? Commissioner Eagle said he didn't like the numbers that were presented, so how do you get better costs on renovating and the cost to purchase the Weatherford?
You isolate a couple of those and go check them. A couple of those numbers on that bid on the Weatherford College deal. You just take a couple of the big ones and go get it double checked. That's pretty easy.
Is that what you want Glenn to do?
Yeah. Well, we're not, I mean, we need to, I'm still thinking to go ahead and do the 4,000, at least get numbers on it. Because if you move, okay, maybe DPS is not the best place for that. That's not the best place for DPS, but it sounds to me like it's an agreeable place for environmental. And that's more than enough room to put environmental and have from that for the next 10 years, isn't it? And maybe one other, you know, so there is a long term with that. They don't have to all be under the same roof, do they?
No, you don't have to, but that, you know, what I'm looking at is with the Weatherford College building just by itself is nearly 20,000 square feet.
Yeah, well, I agree with you.
Probably would, but who do you put in it? You got to have people in the county seat. So.
Anything else from anybody?
Can we collect some more info and have another workshop? I think we can probably work some of this stuff out, you know. I think we've got a stopgap for sure, but.
Well, we got a good start today.
Okay.
I'll put it on the agenda.
Well. Okay. Makes sense. We'll stick it on there and talk about it.
Okay. Anybody else? All right. Well, it is, what is that, 2:42, and we are hereby adjourned.